right, guys, welcome in. How you doing, everybody? Sorry about the late start, but boy, oh boy, do I got a story for that. Couple of things. Let's do a little housekeeping first. When last we met, I was experiencing an absolutely... Hello, everybody. Rick Bradley, how did I sleep? Thank you for asking, my friend. I slept for almost 12 hours. It was ridiculous. As I was saying, when last we met, last night during the pillow talk, I was wigged out on some painkillers because I am experiencing a gout attack that is just, man, it's brutal. Being an old man is brutal, let me tell you. Not even wearing a hat today. That's how just, I don't even care. It's a glare. Ed, our guy, is going to be like, your bald head causes a glare. That's why I wear a mask or a hat usually. But it seems okay. It seems like I don't have to wear a hat every day. Yeah, man, I signed off here. And maybe some of you listening to the Pillow Talk edition last night, which airs every Sunday night through Thursday evening at 9 p.m. Central Time, maybe you recall that I had taken some pain pills. I was a little bit sketchy. Not even sure. Didn't listen back to the show because don't really want to. That's just going to be one of them shows that we'll forget about. We'll just put that one aside. But I signed off here. And I waddled into the next room and I laid down and I pulled up my computer and I was just about to start watching Hulu. I was going to fall asleep to the new Hulu show, The Curse of Von Dutch, which is so good. You guys, if you got time this weekend, it's a 3-hour documentary on Hulu about the fashion brand Von Dutch and how insane it was. It's really good. Like, cocaine dealers and murder and all kinds of stuff. That's why the brand just went away. But anyway, we won't get distracted by that. So I went in there. That was the plan. I was asleep within 5 minutes. So I fell asleep last night at about 10:45 and I woke up this morning at 10:30, which is not out of character for me in the past, but sleeping past 9 is out of character for me since I started doing these shows. So thank you for that. Yeah, I'm feeling fine. I got a good night's sleep. The foot is killing me. Let's do it. Let's do a little check-in on the gout. Let's see if we can see it here. All right. Right here. You can see it's starting to build. You can see this little lump right here starting to swell up. It's it's a thing. It's a thing that I got to deal with. But I'll be fine. We're going to make it. Got big plans today. All right, so now, why am I late? Man, I'll tell you. My kid's got a great mom. My kid's mom is really good. She's really good at being a mom thing. So my kid, all right, allow me to brag. My kid calls me last night, and he says, he goes, Dad, I made AP honor roll. I'm like, of course you did. Of course you did. That's what we do. Not what I do, but it's what his mom did, but it's not necessarily what I do in the past. But he's like, I made AP honor roll. I'm like, that is awesome. And he goes, but that's not even the best news. And I go, well, what's the best news? He goes, I bench press 185 now. And I'm like, what? You're 12 years old. And I told him, I go, dude, I don't think I could bench press 200 pounds until I was probably a freshman in high school. And he's like, oh, I'm going to shatter that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you probably will. You're in 7th grade. I would hope that your bench would go up 15 pounds as you grow in the next. So, he's really into the whole football thing. And now he no longer wants to be an offensive lineman because, as he says, they don't get the good women. But they do. Son, they do. I have known offensive linemen and professional level offensive linemen, and they all get good women. They all get whatever they want once they get in the NFL, whatever they want. But he's now focused on being a linebacker, a middle linebacker. So and it's sort of my fault because I've indoctrinated him into the Chicago Bears, and he's been inundated since birth with imagery of Butkus and Singletary and Urlacher and now Roquan Smith. And, he's kind of adopted that. He wants to be the next in the great line of Chicago Bear linebackers or Cowboy linebackers. He is also a Cowboy fan, a big Cowboy fan. starting to worry that with the success of the Dallas Cowboys this year, that the needle is moving more in the direction of the Cowboys. But that's all right. That's all right. He's from here. This is his team, so let him do whatever he wants. So he tells me about the bench press, right? He's very impressed with his bench press. So we got big plans today. Oh, wait a second. We got some breaking news here. Good story. Hold on. Apparently, the jury has reached a verdict in the Kyle Rittenhouse homicide trial. Let's see if there's some way we can pull this up. Let's see. Maybe we can pull the audio up. Okay, here we go. Let's see. I don't want to.
Just getting on the air right now.
Okay, here we go.
I will play you the audio.
Hold on. We're just going to tap into the audio stream from somewhere else in the Rittenhouse trial.
Let's see. Do we got it?
Let's see what's happening.
Hang on.
As to the first count of the information, Joseph Rosenbaum, we, the jury, find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the second count of the information, Richard McGinnis, we, the jury, find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the third count of the information, unknown male, we, the jury, find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the fourth count of the information, Anthony Huber, we, the jury, find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty. As to the fifth count of the information, Gage Grosskreutz, we, the jury, find the defendant Kyle H. Rittenhouse not guilty.
Members of the jury, are these your unanimous verdicts? Is there anyone who does not agree with the verdicts as read? Would you wish the jury polled? No. Okay. Okay, folks, your job is done, and
all right. Well, there you have it.
Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty on all counts.
There you go.
Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty.
All right. Not guilty on all counts. Kyle Rittenhouse, after the reading of the first not guilty verdict, seemed to collapse into tears. He then fell into the arms of his attorneys. He is now sitting there. Camera is trained on him. He looks hard to explain the look on his face. I would say it's shock, disbelief, sadness, relief, all of that. He just took in a deep breath and exhaled. Shoulders slumped. He's now covering his face with his mouth, or covering his face with his hand, or his mouth with his hand. Slumped over now in the defendant's chair there at the attorney's table, and the lawyer is the judge now is kind of talking to him. Okay, so that's it. I imagine that the photos of him collapsing after hearing. Not collapsing. Maybe that's a bit over dramatic. He slumped. He slumped down, and yeah, all counts. All counts. Not guilty. There you have it. So let's hope that all the people invested in this behave appropriately. And okay, look, we've been talking about this now for the better part of the week. And without being, controversial on this, I think my position on it has been, from what I saw in the case, from what I understood to be the facts, from what I watched and did a little bit of research on my own, and I probably would have had to vote not guilty as well. I don't know. I don't know that it's murder. I don't know that maybe they didn't give him the right charges. Maybe these charges being filed the next day in the heat of all the pandemonium that was going on, maybe in order to quell the thirst for mayhem that the people burning down Kenosha were involved in. Maybe the prosecutor hastily filed charges that, had they really thought about them, maybe they wouldn't have filed them. I don't know. But yes, so there you have it. Kyle Rittenhouse is not guilty on all charges. All charges. Earlier in the week, the judge threw out a couple of the charges against him that I would have voted guilty on. But, and those were the lesser charges of, the gun and I don't remember exactly what they were, but you know what I'm talking about. There were lesser charges that he was also charged with, and they threw them all out. So the attorneys are smiling. His defense attorneys seem very satisfied with the jury's verdict. And there you have it. Breaking news: Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty on all charges. So, where do we go from here? I don't know. Now we sit and wait. And we see how the crazy left reacts. And I think the crazy right, I think they're probably going to go out and celebrate. But what is this going to lead to? Hopefully nothing. Hopefully, this is our justice system. For better or worse. I don't know what to say on that. This is all happening in real time, so I haven't really had a moment to process my thoughts and give you an articulate breakdown of what I think. Like I said, I think I've been pretty consistent. He seemed not guilty of the charges they filed against him. What happens now with Kyle Rittenhouse? I think that for an 18-year-old boy, I think he's a celebrity now. I think that there are going to be a lot of money-making opportunities for this young man if he's so inclined. I think that he may become a poster boy for a very scary part of the American electorate. Look, he's not a hero, but I also don't think he's a murderer. And I know these are provocative opinions that I'm sharing because there's a lot of people who think that he is a cold-blooded murderer and he needed to, but I don't know. I just didn't see it. And I think reasonable minds can agree to disagree on this. I don't think this is as shocking as a verdict as some of the cases we've seen in the past where police officers are let off for what appears to be pretty egregious actions taken against unarmed victims. And then those, people get very upset with that, they can't convict. But even in that realm of court, we've seen the Van Dyke case in Chicago where the cop who shot Laquan McDonald went to prison. There was another one recently. The Minneapolis guy, right? Didn't he got hung out to dry as well. Don't remember what his name is. But I don't know. I don't think this is the same. I don't know that the kid made a whole bunch of good decisions. I think that reasonable minds can have completely opposing opinions of his actions that night. It's just not as cut and dry. It's just not. As someone who identifies as a moderate left-leaning individual, and really the only reason I lean left is because I believe in a woman's right to choose. I think that we need to have a reasonable conversation about guns in this country. And I think trannies should be able to go to the bathroom wherever they want. It's not that big of a deal. It's like 1 in a million, right? What? I've never been in a bathroom so for those reasons, those are pretty much the only reasons that I guess I'm considered left-leaning. That and I'm pretty open-minded, I guess. Like I say, I'm an old man. The world is changing before my very eyes, and I'm just trying to grab my surfboard and ride that wave and be as understanding of what new generations think is possible. I'm not shocked by this. Kyle Rittenhouse not guilty on all charges. I'm not shocked. Okay. Let's see what some people are saying in the chat room about this. April, my girl, not guilty. April also says, wow. Jeff says, I was vamping for you, Pugs. Well, thank you, Jeff. I wonder how the crowd is responding. Jennifer Hernandez with the emoji. Let's see here. April believes the judge was very biased. I will say I don't think we'll keep hearing the name Rittenhouse like we did George Zimmerman. I don't know, man. I don't know. There are his family before all this had some extremely loose affiliations with some troubling groups, anti-government groups, militia types, So, does he become the cause celeb? Does he become sort of an iconic? Tell you this, the dude wants to do a podcast. He's going to have millions of listeners. He's going to do more listeners in his first podcast than this stream could ever do. I mean, he's got opportunities. There's a book. I guess all of that really does depend on how he plays this next. Like, I don't know if a big publishing company is going to offer him a huge book deal to tell his story if, he goes and runs to a bunch of neo-Nazis who, suddenly want to make him their boy. I don't know. It's very complicated. But there we go. I don't know how else to really, I don't know where else to go with it. We'll see. We'll see how this shakes out. Okay, so now back to what I was talking about. I got gout. It hurts. And it will, as new things come up, like as I'm sure there's a whole bunch of protesters being shown right now in front of the courthouse. We'll see how they behave. We'll see where this goes. Boy. I tell you, Kenosha, Wisconsin, this ain't like when the first ones happened. The first ones, they went down. It was summertime. It was nice. There are few more wonderful and enchanting places in the world than Wisconsin in the summertime. I'm telling you, if you were to make a list of the absolute best places in America to be in the middle of summer, Wisconsin's a top fiver. Wisconsin is a top fiver. It really is. 85 degrees, sunny blue skies, trees, massive lakes, Great Lakes. You can do water things. It's awesome. Wisconsin is like the summer. I wouldn't know what's better. Maybe Chicago's pretty good too, but that's if you like the urban thing. If you like the big downtown in the city because it's not too hot. There's a nice cool breeze. You can wear shorts and a t-shirt. You get a sunburn, but still it's not like Texas in August. Woo! Where you walk outside and you're hit with a blow dryer. So this ain't that in Kenosha. Kenosha's already cold. Kenosha's already they're in full winter mode there. So we'll see how people take to the streets. Yeah, they're showing they're showing the protesters now in front of the Kenosha courthouse, and they're fairly docile at the moment. Nothing seems to be happening. Probably making a plan. God forbid. All right. So why were we a few minutes late coming on the air today? We were about 7 minutes late coming on today, and that's because as I was saying, man, my kid's got a great mom. I got lucky in that regard. My kid's mom is a hell of a mom. So we had these big plans for tonight. We're gonna go to the it's my weekend with the boy, and so we're gonna go up to the Highland Park versus Allen playoff game up there in Allen, and that's convenient to where he lives. We can just swing by, pick him up. It's not that hard. We're gonna go to dinner. It's gonna be me. It's gonna be E the artist's son Dom, and the boys get along. The boys like each other. The boys like each other now. They did not. They were, in the early goings, there seems to have been some real problems between my 12-year-old and his 9-year-old. There was just a lot of. All they did was fight. All they do is fight now still. They still do nothing but fight and argue and bicker. But it seems to be more their default mode now. Like they don't it doesn't turn into like crazy, I hate you. It's just, you suck at Red Dead. No, you suck at Red Dead. No, I'm better than you. It's that kind of stuff. It's the way boys hang out. And they seem to have patched up. So he was very excited about going to the game. And in fact, the first thing he said to me, he's like, "Is Dom's going right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, good." I'm like, "What does that mean?" I go, "What, you don't want to go to a game with just me and your Uncle Lee?" What, you don't want? Well, no, it's just, I like it when he's there. So that was nice to hear. But my kid, he calls me last night, as I was saying, and he tells me, he's like, "Dad, I made AP honor roll." I'm like, "Dude, that's awesome." And he goes, "Whoa, but the big news is that I benched 185. I put 185 up." I gotta be honest, I haven't lifted weights in a long time. I don't know if I could do 185. I hate that. I hate the idea that at some point in the near future, I'm going to be around him when he's lifting weights and he's going to say, "Dad, you try," and I'm not going to be able to do it. 12 is too young for that. I don't know if I can. You know what I got to do? I got to get with my boy Rick Bradley. He's like Mr. Weightlifting dude. He's like Mr. Always working out. He seems to know what the hell he's doing in that regard. He's got to at least teach me how to get it ahead of my kid, at least until he's 16 or 17. Then it's time for old 50-something dad to go, "Yeah, well, you're a young buck with emerging muscles," and all that good stuff. So he said he went up, did the 185, and he's very proud. I mean, he's more proud of that than he was AP honors, but he knew he had to front sell the AP honors because that's what would mean something to me. This morning he wakes up and he is sore. He's having, "I can't, mom, I can't go to school today." Now remember, after school today, we got a whole weekend planned. "Mom, I can't go to school today." That whole thing. And he goes to school anyway because his mom his mom gives no fucks. Well, no, she does, but she knows what a little manipulator he can be. So then, he's calling her. He's calling her from school. "Oh, I don't feel good." So mom jumps into mom action and she immediately starts going around looking for, pediatric orthopedists to get him in there and to have him checked out. And, he doesn't realize that if he gets pulled out of school on a Friday and it's so serious that he has to go see a specialist about his neck pain, he doesn't realize that means no football game tonight, no weekend with dad, at least not for a couple of days. He's off school next week, so maybe he comes on Sunday or whatever. But he doesn't process all of that. He's looking at it like, okay, I can maybe work this angle. And I can maybe get out of this is the fear, I should say, that he's working an angle. No. The fear is that he's really hurt. Let me be clear. The fear is that he's really hurt. But knowing him, knowing that he loves to put on a show, you have to be skeptical. So I then get on the phone and I start talking to all of my doctor friends and I start explaining, what is going on. And they all gave me wonderful advice. Even his Uncle Lee, I talked to his Uncle Lee. His Uncle Lee gave me some wonderful advice because he used to run all these imaging centers and he used to employ all these orthopedic surgeons. And he, through the course of his business, has learned a little bit about, when people should come in to get these kinds of scans and all that and when they shouldn't. So he gave some good advice. As well as, like I said, some others. I don't want to say the names of the doctors because, it was off the books and the doctor thing is serious. So, what do you mean you're giving off the books recommendations to people that are then putting them out there on lunch? But everybody basically said the same thing. So I called him during his lunch break, which occurred right at the start of the show, which is why we were a little bit late. And I asked him all the questions that the doctors asked me to ask him. And he answered them all good. And I said, "All right, man, well, look, we're still trying to get you in to see a specialist. So if your mom can do that," she's like, "don't worry about it. We'll make up this weekend some other time. It's not that big of a deal." And his immediate response was, "I'm feeling a lot better now, Dad." It's like, so what he did was he went really hard in the weight room after never having gone that hard. He was fine right after. He was fine all night. And then this morning he woke up and, he had neck stiffness and all of that. So we're thinking he's okay. Knock on wood. We'll see. We'll see how it progresses throughout the day. So if Uncle Lee is listening, Uncle Lee is not with us. He's out doing important dad stuff today. If Uncle Lee is listening, the plan as of 12:32 p.m. is that we're going to continue with the plan for the evening, which is pick him up, go to dinner, go to the game, start off the holiday weekend properly. And it is, it's a full-on holiday weekend for him because he's off school all next week. What's going on with my eyebrows? We got some. All right, now there appears to be some pushing and shoving out in front of the courthouse. I think that the attorneys are probably about to come out and make some kind of a statement. When that happens, we'll carry that live. Why not? Right? That's what we do here. But before we get into all that, I do have to say that because of all of these things that are going on with my kid, and I'm receiving callbacks from people who are, I just missed a call. We may not go a full 2 hours today. Got a whole bunch. I know you can understand. We got a whole bunch of things, happening here. So I apologize, but we'll try and run through as much of the stuff today as we can. And again, we got no sunglasses. We got no James Parker. So it's James is always a threat to just pop in. So you never know about that. So we'll try and give you as much as we can. I am paying attention to the courthouse because I do want to hear what the attorneys have to say once they chime in. So we'll try and bring that to you as well. But let's stop dilly-dallying. Let's get into what we do here on the High Noon broadcast every Monday through Friday, noon to 2, or as is today. There's Rick. Rick, well, what do you think? Let's see here. He probably I can't read that. Where's my man Rick? I trust Rick on all weightlifting stuff. Rick says he probably lifted more than 185. That bar is 45. Oh, okay. But hey, Rick, he's claiming now that he has something called DOMS, which I don't know what that is, but maybe you do. He apparently thinks that that's not so serious that he can't go to a football game. I think it means maybe he's just a little stiff and hurting himself. All right, today is Friday, the 11th month of the year, 19th day, year of our Lord, 2021, December 19th. It is the 353rd day of the year. That's 353, 354 if we're counting leap year, and I'm not sure that we are. 12 days remain until, not 12 days till the end of the year. How many days until the end of the year? I wrote that down wrong. It's not 12 days till the end of the year. 36 days until Christmas. So what, 42 days until the end of the year? And we're just inside a week until Thanksgiving. My Thanksgiving plans changed. The other night, I revealed that I was looking forward to just being football bachelor lonely guy on Thanksgiving, which I was legitimately looking forward to. The original plan was that the big house here at the One Percenter compound in beautiful downtown Highland Park, Texas, was going to host the Thanksgiving festivities, but that changed, and that's fine. You got to stay fluid. That changed, and now it's being moved over to Emil's in-laws, who are wonderful people who I enjoy. I hang out with them a lot at football games for Dom, the boy, and they pop by the house. They're fun people. So that's not really a thing that I don't want to do. But I kind of planned that I would bog out once it moved from the big house, and all I had to do was walk over in my flip hops when it's time to eat. That sounded so good to me. Like I could stay in the guest house. I could just chill out all day, pop in and out, have a cocktail, a little nice conversation, and then all after the Bears-Lions game, of course. During the Cowboy game, I thought I'd go watch the Cowboy game with them. But then that changed and they moved, so I figured I'm just going to stay in. Maybe I'll get like some Boston chicken the night before, put it in the fridge, cook it up, make it nice, have myself a little lonely guy Thanksgiving dinner. Which people are like, oh, that's so sad. Guys, you got to understand, I'm an only child. I'm an only child who was raised by a single mom. And outside of that, our immediate family wasn't crazy big. It was a grandma and a grandpa and an aunt and an uncle and whoever the aunt and the uncle brought. And then maybe there were a couple of strays. And then every once in a while, we'd go to the larger expanded family for Thanksgiving, which included, a couple cousins and, some great aunts and great uncles and then all that. But for the most part, our immediate family celebrations were always very condensed. And I spent most of that time in my room as an only child doing my own thing. So the response of, oh, that's so sad. No, you guys don't get it. That's my default setting. I love that. That's what I'm most comfortable in. I am, although when we turn the microphones on and maybe when we go out in public and we're hanging out, I'm a bit of an extrovert, but every other time I'm an introvert. And I'm good with it. I am in my own head. So I was actually kind of looking forward to it. I say lonely guy just as a bit of alliteration, but that's not really how I feel. Like, I was excited about it. So E tells me yesterday on the show that, no, you got to come over to the in-laws. They want you there. And well, that made me feel nice. Like, okay, well, if they want me, I just don't want to be I don't want to be Janice Soprano's boyfriend that she met in rehab. I don't want to be the stray. But I actually don't feel like the stray with them because they're very warm and they're fun people. So looking forward to that. And my only stipulation was, you got to leave me alone to watch the Bears game. I will come by after the Bears game. Just tell me you're not one of these families that suddenly decides on Thanksgiving that dinner is at 1:00 in the afternoon. What is that? Why does this happen on the holidays? Dinner time is between 5 and 7. That's it. You eat dinner between 5 and 7 p.m., usually closer to the 5 end. But on holidays, all of a sudden, we're expected to eat dinner where we would normally eat lunch. I don't get that. So after that, we're gonna go over to the game. What happened on this day, December the 19th? Let's see. In 1972, the Apollo program made some big news. It was the last manned lunar flight, Apollo 17, crewed by Eugene Cernan, Ronald Evans, and Harrison Schmitt, returned to Earth. So essentially, on this day in 1972, which would be, was that 49 years? On this day, 49 years ago, the United States of America essentially ended our lunar program. That's it. We ain't been back since. We apparently lost the recipe to get to the moon because we never tried. The promise of what the moon landing held for us in our future was never fulfilled. It's not even that it wasn't fulfilled. We didn't even try. We just walked away from it. And look, everybody knows, not everybody, but maybe some of you don't. I was born on July 20th, 1969. My birthday is July 20th, 1969. The most important day in human history. The day mankind achieved their single greatest achievement, which is taking a human being from this planet and putting them on another celestial being, another whatever, something else. We put something else. Huge deal. We were promised that we were going to have moon colonies by the mid-70s. We were promised that space tourism was going to be a thing by the 1980s. None of that shit happened. You know why none of that shit happened? Because of us, the American people. We got bored with it. The original astronauts, when you go back to the 1960s, when you go back to the Mercury astronauts, they were rock stars. Everybody in the world knew the names John Glenn, Gus Grissom. All of these guys were super, super famous, and it was exciting. These were going to be our spacey men. And then, they did a whole bunch of missions, and all the missions were on live TV, and schools stopped, and they wheeled in black and whites, and people gathered around TVs wherever they were, and they watched every little Mercury mission. They watched then the Apollo missions came in, and oh boy, the Apollo missions, now we're going to the moon. Okay, this is exciting too. And we got super excited about the moon landing, and then it kind of fell off. It was like, okay, we saw him go to the moon, and now what? That was Apollo 11. And as I said, today's the anniversary of Apollo 17. So there were 6 missions in between. I mean, even the Apollo 13 mission, which was they made the movie about, which was a real serious incident that occurred in space. We almost lost our first astronauts out there in space. Even when the Apollo 13 incident occurred, it didn't galvanize the country. It wasn't like the whole country stopped and held their breath. The movie portrayed it like that a little bit, but that wasn't the case. The American public had sort of lost interest. After the one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind speech that Neil Armstrong made, we kind of went, okay, because then the next mission was like, oh, they're doing it again? Oh, this time they're riding dune buggies up there? Oh, cool. Okay, what else you got for me? And instead, on this day, the final one, the Apollo 17, landed back, and we stopped. We stopped going. And that was because the shuttle program came into vogue with NASA. The shuttle program. We were all very excited about the initial shuttles because it looked cool. Now it's not just dudes on a rocket, not just dudes in a trash can riding on a rocket. Now it's like a spacey vehicle. Now it's a spaceship. Now we got a spaceship that we're flying around out there. But let's be honest, the space shuttle turned out to be just a pickup truck. That's all. It was just a spacey pickup truck. And those got boring. The only time we started to get interested again was when they started to fail, when those missions started to have cataclysmic issues. And, we all know about what happened with 2 of them. We moved away from the moon stuff and we got way into the building of the space station and the satellites and all that. And boy, that has changed our life. I mean, everything that we're doing right here is dependent on satellites, the cloud system and all of that we all depend on every day. That was all due to the boring ass pickup truck maintenance duties of the space shuttle and the early satellite launches and all that good stuff. But we, the American public, we lost interest in going to the moon. We lost interest in everything. It just became boring. It became blasé. So Congress started cutting back funds, and NASA fell. We don't even have the ability to launch people anymore. Actually, we might. I don't know if we changed that, but there was a period of time after we retired the last shuttle that American astronauts had to they had to be invited like vampires onto other nations' space programs because we weren't launching anybody anymore. We had to go up with the Japanese. We had to go up with the Russians. We had to do all that. So, I wanted space hotels on the moon. I wanted all of that stuff. I assumed as a baby born on July 20th, 1969, that, there might be something in it for me down the road, like some sort of publicity, some sort of an opportunity for them to say, we are gathering all of the children who were born on July 20th and taking them to space. It's always been a bit of a fantasy of mine. I still think I'm going to space because of that. I do. I think that even if I'm 80 years old, they're going to send my 80-year-old ass into space because the news media and the publicity departments will be able to, he was born on the day. So I'm holding out hope for that. But boy, oh boy, is our space program taking one in the chops. And it's because of us. It's because of us. It's because of us losing interest that caused the congressmen who represent us to lose interest, which caused them to start questioning the budgets required for space exploration. And again, this is a ridiculous. People say this is a provocative point of view for me to have. Save the earth first, not that. No, I'm sorry. Look, we can do both. We can absolutely do both. But the idea that there is nothing to be gained by mankind's exploration of the outer reaches is insane. I mean, it's insane. We need to move forward as a species. We need to see what's out there. The human desire to explore is ingrained in us from the first time that tribal herds decided to start migrating across the continents. That's in us. What's next? What's over there? Let's go look at that. That's how humanity began spreading around the globe. We need to keep that. That's not something we should be fighting. That's something we should be embracing and leaning into. But it costs money to go to space, and we can't even get money for roads. I mean, I don't get it. We'll buy all the bombs we need, blow hell out of each other here, but nothing that's going to benefit all of us around the globe. No, that's too far-sighted. We can't do that. All right, so that's what happened today. That's really the only big thing that happened today. I think the Gettysburg Address may have happened today, but I didn't look at that. But for some reason, I think that might be a deal. All right, what else is today about? Well, today is the National Day of, we like to give you this so you know how to celebrate properly. Today is the National Day of Play Monopoly. I like Monopoly, but I got a question for you guys out there. Have any of you ever finished a game of Monopoly? Has a game of Monopoly that you've engaged in ever been brought to a conclusion? I don't think it has. I don't think that in my entire life growing up, playing board games with family or friends or whatever, I don't think one single game of Monopoly has ever come to a conclusion with a winner. It usually ends with people going, I'm out, and then one by one people leave. I mean, I suppose in that respect we've had a winner. But man, I've never finished a game of Monopoly in my life, and I doubt that you have either. So why don't you try and do that tonight? Why don't you carve out 10 hours this weekend and try and play a complete game of Monopoly? National Carbonated Beverage Day with caffeine is today. National Carbonated Beverage Day with caffeine. So what I have here is I have a Dr. Pepper Zero, which is, I don't think there's any caffeine in that. So I'll take a sip of that. And I also got my coffee over here, which definitely has caffeine. And look at me celebrating National Carbonated Beverage Day with caffeine. Today is Substitute Teacher Day. Substitute teacher. Oh, man, you want to talk about a subset of the American population that just do the yeoman's work. Substitute teachers walk into a shit show every time they're called into action. I mean, was there anything better as a kid when you found out you had a substitute teacher? Why? Oh, because you knew there were new rules. You knew that nothing that happened the day before with your static teacher in the classroom was gonna apply today. You might be a day where you just read. Might be a day. It depended on the substitute, though, right? Like some substitutes sucked. Like they would just be like, "All right, open up your books, and I need you to read the first 10 pages." And as a kid, you thought, "Okay, there's got to be some reason to this. This has got to have some purpose." So, okay, I guess that's what we're going to do for the next 45 minutes. We're going to sit in this class and we're going to read quietly. That sucked. There was no purpose to that. That substitute teacher was just babysitting, and he just didn't want to deal with any of our garbage, so he was going to be a hammer and just make us sit there and read books. Then you had the other substitute teacher. You had the young, fun substitute teacher. Okay, class, we're going to play some games. And that was good too, because that was just a license to clown around. And then there's the third category of substitute teacher that I have experienced. And that substitute teacher classification is called the Froome classification. The Froome classification of substitute teacher, because we had a substitute teacher in high school named Mr. Froome. Oh, he was glorious. He was. All right. So imagine, here's how I will describe Mr. Froome to you. Do you remember the TV show Taxi? Okay, and maybe for some of you not quite so old, do you remember the TV show Seinfeld? Okay, so imagine a mashup of Reverend Jim from Taxi and Kramer from Seinfeld with a grotesque skin disease. That was Mr. Froome. Mr. Froome had that psoriasis all over his arms and all over his neck, and he would come in with like the calamine lotion all over him. He had wild hair. He had big, giant, thick glasses. Now looking back on him, I believe that he was a 60s acid burnout who is now substitute teaching in his 30s back in the 1980s. And Mr. Froome, he didn't give a shit about nothing. When Mr. Froome showed up in your class, there was no game playing. There was no study in your books. There was none of that. Mr. Froome was just about, I'm going to sit here and do nothing, and you guys are just going to block off into your little groups, and you're going to talk, and you're going to make paper airplanes, and you're going to throw shit. That was the Froome classification. So again, 3 classifications of school teacher, of substitute school teacher. You got the hard ass who's going to make you just read in your book and be silent for the whole hour. You got the guy who's going to come in and try and be your best friend, Mr. Cool Guy, and play games with you, which is also good. And then you got the Froome classification, which is all bets are off. Anything can happen with Mr. Froome. Do I have Kevin Barber in there? I was going to say Kevin Barber probably remembers Mr. Froome. Yeah, Mr. Froome. He says, I remember Mr. Froome. And then he says, I think. Well, how could you? I think he had narcolepsy as well, as he would fall asleep. Yes. Well, now, I don't know that narcolepsy was something that he actually had, but Mr. Froome certainly did sleep. He would just sit in his desk and close his eyes, and all bets were off, boy. You could leave. Mr. Froome, can I go to the bathroom? Yeah, sure, go ahead. Mr. Froome, can I go to the bathroom? Yeah, sure, go. There was no wait for him to come back. It was just like 15 of us going to the bathroom all at once, which meant inevitably, if it was during a period where lunch was also happening, we would just go to the lunchroom and hang out. Hey, this ain't your lunch period. What are you doing here? Do you have Mr. Froome today? Sure do. That's why I'm here having another lunch. Froome was great. All right, so celebrate your substitute teachers. Some of them are good. Some of them are Froome. That's all I can say on that notion. All right, what we do on today's show, on this show, what we call High Noon, is we like to talk about all the things that are trending. Hold on, guys. Sorry. As I said earlier, I got the kid situation percolating as we speak. Okay. My son, mom's gonna call you. Okay, well, good. That's he's in class and texting. That's something Mr. Froome would be totally cool with. Mr. Froome would have no problem with you playing on your phone. All right, so we will see. We're gonna try and burn through as much of this as possible before I got to bog out. And it's already 1:00, so we're going to get a full show. We haven't even started running through these, so I think we're going to be fine. Okay, Adele is trending today. Adele. Now, she's brilliant, right? I mean, she is just a timeless talent. And I'm not even necessarily someone that goes out and buys Adele album. I don't know who buys albums anymore, but you know what I mean? It's like I would, but if somebody said, hey dude, you want to go see Adele? I'd be like, yeah, because I'm checking off the boxes of all the true artists and masters of their craft that I have seen in my life. I've checked off McCartney. I've checked off Springsteen. I've checked off Madonna. I've checked off Sinatra. I've checked, I've tried to do, the whole list. Whenever anybody comes through, the Rolling Stones, I've checked them off. The Who, I've checked them off. Whenever these things occur, I like to sort of just check them off so that I can say, yeah, I saw them. They were fantastic. Springsteen, I've seen Springsteen like 20 times. Like I've seen him like more times than and speaking of Kevin Barber, first time I ever saw Springsteen was due to Kevin Barber. We drove down to Indianapolis and saw him at the Hoosier Dome. That was during the Born in the USA tour. Set the tone for like 16 more Springsteen shows that I would see over the years. Solo with the full band, whatever. But Adele is one of those. Adele is one of those that I would that Rolling in the Deep song is good. That is a banger. That is a timeless tune. That song is, and I know she's got more than that, but that's the one that I always think of first. And she can make you cry. You ever just feeling down. As someone who suffers from depression, boy, when I need to vent it all out, I just put on some Adele on Spotify and woo, I'm feeling better. She makes me feel better. She makes me vent all of that emotion, get it all out. So Adele is trending. I don't know why she's trending though. There's a whole bunch. When celebrities like this trend, unless, they've died or unless there's like some major thing, the explanation of why they're trending is everything from, isn't Adele great, to look at what Adele wore last night on the red carpet. So maybe she's got a new album or something. I don't know. The other thing that's trending today, which I saved to hear because, we usually do, it's the International Day of segment. And we just did that. Substitute teachers, carbonated beverage, and Monopoly playing. But also trending today, International Men's Day. Apparently this is International Men's Day. And I don't know what that means. It's how do we observe International Men's Day? Men seem to be the shit end of the stick on everything in this modern world, and maybe it's deserved. Maybe there should be a little bit more equity as far as who gets to call the shots in this world. I'm open to that. Let's have that discussion. It's certainly been a man's world for the past couple millennium, and although Cleopatra back in the day seemed to have her shit tight, Cleopatra seemed to be, there were some women over the years, but mostly, it's been men. And today's International Men's Day. I don't know. How do we celebrate that? Are we not the most hated gender for a day? Does it move to the women? Do we blame women for everything today? Because I think that's the way most men would prefer to celebrate International Men's Day. Let's just spend the entire day blaming women for everything. Gets tired. President Harris is trending today. That's right, President Harris. We crossed a milestone today. This is President Joe Biden will receive a routine colonoscopy today while he is undergoing a physical. Walter Reed, the process, which requires anesthesia, means that he will temporarily transfer power to Kamala Harris, who will briefly become the first woman president. And on International Men's Day, no less. So much for my let's blame women for everything. Although now, I guess we can blame President Kamala Harris for everything, because now she's president. Also, Build Back Better is trending today. That's the infrastructure bill. Let's see here. Adam Hirsch, an economist at the Economic Policy Institute, projects that more than 80% of the new jobs created by the infrastructure plan will not require a college degree. I know even the name Biden is polarizing, but this infrastructure bill should not be polarizing. This infrastructure bill is big. It could change a lot of things. And the very fact that 80% of the new jobs created here is going to not require college degrees is huge. It's going to put people back to work. Some people are going to get good jobs instead of having to work in, McDonald's, hump a drive-through for, an 8-hour shift every day. So that's good. We need more labor jobs. We've been outsourcing everything in this country for so long that we just don't have any jobs for the working class. And this seems 80%, according to this economist, 80% of these jobs. We'll see, though, right? I mean, isn't that what we always have to wait and see on? But, in the papering, it looks like it's going to be good. Okay. Speaking of the polarizing Joe Biden, can we talk about something? I love you guys, and I don't like to be polarizing, but I saw something yesterday. Hold on, I gotta make sure. Oh my God. Hold on. You know what? Screw it. I'm not gonna do it this way. I apologize. See, what happened was I got on late today, so I didn't have time to set everything up the way I like to set everything up. So I'm not going to waste all your time trying to sign into, different things that I would normally be signed into. So we'll just show this. Okay. So this was trending last night, and I didn't get into it, but I want to talk about it now. Okay. So can we talk about this? This is trending. Okay. I want to show you this. And I want to hear I'll tell you what it says. It's troubling. I'm no Biden fan, right? I mean, I think, what are we doing? Really? That's the guy? We come out of the former guy and this is the new guy? What the hell's wrong with you people? So this started trending last night. And here's the description. It says, this isn't normal behavior with a child. If you try and explain this away, you're sick and should be nowhere near children. Okay, so let's watch it, okay? Let's see if this is sick. And if you think it's normal, you should be nowhere near children. I'm so sick of one particular faction in this country being so fucking obsessed with pedophilia. It's weird, dude. Stop it's weird. Stop it. Pedophilia isn't that big of a problem in this country where absolutely everybody that you have in a political disagreement with has to be a pedophile. Stop it. It's weird. All right, so watch this. Remember now, this isn't normal behavior with a child. If you try and explain this away, you're sick and should be nowhere near children. Let's watch this. Okay, look at that child. Look at that. Look at now he's gonna kiss him on the cheek. He's gonna rub his back. Yeah. Okay. So is that sick? Is that disgusting behavior with a child? Does that make you somebody who should never be around children? Does that make you a pedophile? This isn't normal behavior with a child. If you try to explain this away, you're sick and should be nowhere near children. That's all it says. That's all it says. It doesn't give you any context of what's going on here. Hey, look at Joe Biden cruising school kids. No, that's because that's not true. This is Joe Biden with his grandson at his father's funeral. This little boy is at his dad's funeral. This is his grandson. This behavior is sick. We should all have parents, grandparents as loving, as warm, as caring, as consolatory. If you think this is sick, This blows back on you, man. This means that you grew up with an asshole family, in a family with no warmth, no caring, no kindness. Stop it. There is plenty of shit that you can throw at Biden. He's old. He doesn't seem like he's all there all the time. He's Sleepy Joe. You can do his policies. He's a wish-washy guy. He's never been on one team or the other. He's always sort of just gone where the wind has blown him for political advantage. You can make all of those complaints against him. But this is a grandpa with a little boy, his grandson, whose father just died. Now we'll watch it again and we'll see if this is sick. I just get so angry. I get so angry at that. And you know why? Because apparently I am sick. Apparently I come from a sick, twisted, borderline pedophile family because my grandpa was like this with me. My grandpa was incredibly warm and loving and hugs and kisses on the cheek and back rubs when things weren't going right. It didn't make him a pedophile. It made him an incredibly warm and kind and generous grandfather. This is kindness. This isn't. And then, all right, so I've gotten off on my little rant here, and we can all survive, I think. But let me show you something that is totally ignored, okay? So that's sick, right? That is sick. But the same people who are saying that that is sick and borderline pedophilia, remember, this is a kid at his dad's funeral who is probably crushed and trying to hold it together because he knows he comes from a political family and the cameras are trained on him and he needs to be behaved. He needs to hold it together. He needs to be a tough soldier. And this is his grandfather telling him, no, everything's okay. And that, in the eyes of the political opposition, is a sure sign of pedophilia. And anybody who says what I'm saying right now is sick and twisted and should never be near children. That is what the opposition is saying, while completely ignoring this. This is fucked up, people. This is fucking weird, okay? That's fine. Nothing weird about this. But a kid at his father's funeral being consoled by his grandfather. Come on, man. I'm all for having a nice, reasonable conversation. But when you start putting garbage out like that and ignoring this, come on. And here's the thing. There are dozens of pictures like this. There are dozens. We're all just going to ignore it, though. Just ignore that. Here, let's see if we can find another creepy one. Oh, here's another creepy one. Look at this. Here we go. Is this one? Yeah, there you go. There's another one. All right, making out with his daughter in the back of a limo. How many supermodels has he shagged in the back of that limo? And then there he is with his daughter. Stop it. Stop being so weird. Stop seeing everything as being pedophilia. Leave the man. Well, there's another one, I guess. Look, he's kissing a little girl. That's weird. And if you think this is okay, there's something. Look, this isn't weird. This one you're seeing right now of President Trump kissing a little black girl in his arms, that is not weird. If Joe Biden did that, it would be pedophilia. But I'm telling you, the shit with him and Ivanka, it's a little weird. But hey, whatever. I'm not going to jump to saying it's pedophilia, but it is weird. It's just not. This isn't weird either. This is sweet. This is a rare show of warmth and affection towards a stranger from President Trump. This is no display of pedophilia or anything like that. Okay, so I just wanted to get off on all that stuff. Because man, did that. All I could think when I saw Biden with his grandson at Beau Biden's funeral, all I could think of was, my grandpa was like that. My grandpa, when my father died, my grandpa kind of stepped in and took on a lot of the, roles that a man might do for a child. And he was incredibly warm. And I loved him dearly for it. But never once did I think I was being hit on. And I promise you that nobody ever saw the relationship between me and my grandpa and went, that guy's obviously a pedophile. And if you disagree with me, then you're a pedophile too. So let's stop, right? Not trying to be politically divisive. I am just appealing to the reasonable people out there who understand what that is. Terrible. The ideological assassination is one thing. If you disagree with, their policies or what they're doing, that's fine. Have at it. That's politics. All's fair in politics. But that kind of stuff, man, that kind of stuff ain't right. That kind of stuff ain't nice. Let's stop it. Let's just stop it. Let's start being cool with one another. All right, let's see what else is trending today. I needed to get that off my chest because it's just so cruel. It's so cruel and needlessly ridiculous. Okay, what else is happening here? Pete Davidson is trending. We talked about that last night. For those of you who weren't listening last night, I'll quickly share my views on Pete Davidson. I don't get him. I find him moderately amusing. He is the biggest star on Saturday Night Live now. And I have to imagine that, he's a star on Saturday Night Live, not for his sketch work, because his sketch work has been few and far between. In the years he's been on the show, he has almost exclusively been somebody who does hits on the Weekend Update. He comes on, plays Pete Davidson, does something funny. Like I said, he's moderately amusing. He's certainly not the worst person in the cast, but he's not the breakout star that I would have picked. And recently, he's getting a lot more sketch work because he's Ariana Grande and Kate Beckinsale, and now it is official. Pete Davidson and Kim Kardashian are in a confirmed relationship. Has anybody checked on Kanye? Because if you remember, Kanye had a problem when these stories first came rolling out. He didn't like the idea that his wife and mother of his children were out there running around with Pete Davidson. Look, I don't either. Probably for completely different reasons. As you all know, Kim Kardashian and I are tight. I would not know the difference between red and green salsa had Kim Kardashian not taken a good 10 minutes to explain to me the differences, the nuances between a green and a red salsa while we were standing in a buffet line at the Staples Center during Grammy Week. She was wonderful to me. She was excited. She was passionate. She wanted me to walk away from that conversation never having to say, I forget what the difference is between green and red salsa, which is how it started. That's how it started. Okay, so I'll tell this story. Why not? Why not, Pugs? We're just killing time. All right, so we used to go out to the Grammys every year, and they would do these like gangbangs with celebrity interviews, where they would just set up all of these DJs from around the country in this really cool section of the Staples Center. It was like a private club. It was like a country club setting with looked like a fancy restaurant with booze and all that. So they would set all the DJs up, and then they'd just dump a whole bunch of celebrities in there, and the celebrities would go from table to table, and they could do, 15 radio shows in 15 different markets promoting whatever the hell it is that they're promoting in one afternoon. And Kim Kardashian was one of them, and she sat down with Kelly and I, and we had a wonderful interview. I have to say, now I know that if we were to speak with my partner, Kelly, she might say it was a little bit different, but that's because Kim obviously liked me more. I have pictures that I can share with you of Kim Kardashian completely enjoying my company, giving me a smile. There was one picture where I made some joke, and she said, and I'll never forget it, I'll never forget the first time that I knew I had Kim Kardashian. Here's what she said to me. I know, right? I knew I had her. When she looked me dead in the eye, a foot away from me across the table, and went, I know, right? And somebody got a picture of that. I think it may be Devin, our boy Devin, who was out there, got a picture of it. Oh, you better believe I got that picture. Oh, I got that picture. I've showed my son, hey, this is where Kim Kardashian realized that I was cool. So the interview ends, and we decide that we're going to take a break from the interviews because they just trotted all the food out. And boy, oh boy, did they trot out some good food. A big buffet spread, because remember, it's a whole bunch of celebrities. When I say celebrities, I mean, certainly Kim Kardashian wasn't Kim Kardashian of today's Kim Kardashian, but she was still Kim Kardashian. Kim Kardashian was there. She was probably a middle celebrity. And then you had people like Rob Schneider, or Douche Bigelow, he was there. But then on the high end, you had people like Janet freaking Jackson. Oh, man, when Miss Nasty walked into the room, that was a phalanx of security. So a lot of celebrities. So the food that they put out to feed these people has got to be Janet, Miss Nasty Jackson, quality food. So we get in the line with food, And it was actually, here's how it started. So we were about to sit down and do an interview with Stuart Copeland. And I said, I want to get something to eat. And Stuart Copeland said, before we started doing the interview, he said, oh, I want to get something to eat too, or something like that. And I said, oh, well, come on, we'll go get some food. He's like, cool, show me where the food is. So me and Stuart Copeland walk over and we get in line for the food. And who is right in front of me in line? Kim Kardashian, the woman that I just spent a good 20 minutes talking with. Remember, she said, I know, right? So she knows who I am. So I'm fresh in her mind. And as we've got our plates and we're moving through the buffet, Stuart Copeland of the Police is to my left and Kim Kardashian is to my right. And I look at the salsa and I say, I can never remember the difference between green and red salsa. Boom. And that's when the relationship between me and Kim started. That's when she said, oh, well, here's the difference. And she explained it. She was wonderful. She was nice. And the funny thing is, I wish there were pictures of this. Where was Devin when this was going on? Because this would have been, these are pictures for the book. The whole time she's explaining it to me, Stuart Copeland of the Police, the drummer from the Police, who's a really tall guy, really tall and skinny, he's like leaning over my shoulder listening to this. And I look back at Stuart Copeland like, Kim Kardashian's talking about salsa. And Stuart Copeland just looks at me and goes, cool. Like, this is cool. Like, yeah, I'm learning something too. So Pete Davidson is now with Kim Kardashian, and I don't like it. I don't get it. I don't understand the attraction to Pete Davidson. I don't understand. Look, like I said, he's moderately amusing. When he comes on the screen, I'm like, okay, I'll listen to what this dude has to say. But it's not like back in the day when Will Ferrell would come on the screen, or it's not like when Jason Sudeikis would come on the screen, or Kate McKinnon, or Kristen Wiig. It's not like that. He's more of like a middling Taron Killam type on Saturday Night Live. I was okay, maybe chances are it's going to be good. Chances are it's not, but whatever. He's not terrible. He's not great. But every woman in the world seems to think that this guy is like the reincarnation of Adonis. And I don't see it. He's tall, he's skinny, he's got sunken eyes, he's tattooed all over. Again, folks, I'm a 50-something-year-old man who doesn't understand the world in front of me. I have no idea what look appeals to women. I mean, obviously, I think this is a good look. So this is not the Pete Davidson look. I am just trying to get by, grabbing my surfboard, surfing that wave, trying not to cause any disturbances, saying, I don't get it, but okay, it ain't my world. Pete Davidson with his sunken eyes, his junky look, his Kim Kardashian. That one hurts me. I suppose we got some pictures we could share. I suppose. Nah, we can't. We're not going to do that. Did you notice there wasn't a moment of joy today? I apologize for that. I usually research the moment of joy first thing before we go on the air, because what I'll do is I'll save a whole bunch of them and then I'll look through them. But I didn't have time to do that today because, the kid stuff, I broke my neck lifting weights. Did you really break your neck? Well, I don't know. Is it going to affect the weekend? Yeah, it's going to affect the weekend. I'm feeling much better, Dad. Yeah, okay, so that was the reason why I don't have a moment of joy. Just take a look outside if you're here in North Texas. There's your moment of joy. Beautiful. It's sunny. Birds are chirping. It's a little bit cool. Let's see here. Once again, okay, so Von Dutch is trending. That was trending today, but we already talked about that. That's the new series on Hulu, The Curse of Von Dutch. Von Dutch was a fashion trend back in the early aughts, late 90s. The trucker hat. They're the ones who foisted the trucker hat on us. There's a new Hulu series documenting why that company just seemed to have vanished. It's crazy. It's well worth your time. I'm going to watch it. I'm expecting at some point this week. It's 3 hours long. I'm 2 hours into it. I got an hour left, and my kid is not going to be interested in it. So when he goes over to the big house to play in the game room, to sit in front of the gigantic garage door sized TV and play his PlayStation 5 over there, I'm gonna knock that out. So I don't know how it ends, but I'll tell you: cocaine, murder, gangbanging, douchey celebrities, everyone from Dennis Rodman to Paris Hilton to Tommy Lee, just crazy. It's really good. So if you got a little time this weekend, you're looking for something fascinating, and you remember the early 2000s, and you remember the trucker hat craze and the Von Dutch name, you'll like it. It's fun. It's done really well. It's on Hulu, and it's called The Curse of Von Dutch. Cleveland Guardians are trending today. Of course, they are the former Cleveland Indians. They got their name change. It's official. There was some issues with an existing Cleveland roller derby team called the Cleveland Guardians, and they had the trademarks and all that on the name. And the Cleveland Indians, when they made the change to the Cleveland Guardians, apparently never checked to see if they had the rights to use the name. So I'm guessing somebody who owns a roller derby team in the Cleveland area got paid. He got a check because it all went away fairly quickly. And now the Cleveland Indians are officially the Cleveland Guardians, which is weird for me because, my White Sox play in that same division, and the tribe, everything was the tribe. That's what we called them. We hated the tribe. The tribe was always a little bit better than us. And oh my God, the tribe's coming to town. And now it's going to be the Guardian or the Guards. Maybe it'll be the Guards. I don't know. And don't think, like, here's the thing that people don't work into the equation of the Cleveland Indians. Oh, this is going to suck for them. So what? They got to change all their signage. Oh, they got to change. You always hear people when these name changes come in. Oh, everything, all the paper, all the pads of paper have the Cleveland Indians logo. They got to change all that. Stop it. Do you have any idea how much money they're going to make in new merchandise? They now get to sell to every Cleveland baseball fan new hats, new jerseys, new pennants, oh my God. The Cleveland Indian organization was joyed when they finally were allowed to, and because it's not like, a lot of times when these things change, people go, oh, you're just trying to make more money by selling new jerseys. We see that in football and baseball with the specialty jerseys that they trot out. The NBA has their city jerseys, and, and that's all because they want the fans to buy these jerseys to make more money. It's non-traditional revenue streams that didn't exist back in, 20 years ago, 25 years ago. So they figured out if you make a new jersey for the team and sell it as a limited edition, you can get a windfall of cash really quick off stupid fans who will spend anything for anything associated with the team. The Cleveland Indians organization loved from a bottom line perspective, they loved the idea of changing the name because now they got all kinds of new stuff that they can sell. And oh, sure, you just bought an Indians jersey last year. Now you got to buy a new one this year. So all the people that would have worn that for 10 years and not bought a new jersey, now they got to get a new one. And new is cool. Okay, so we got a sad little note here. Mick Rock has died. Mick Rock has died at 72 years old. He's trending right now. Do you guys know who Mick Rock is? Mick Rock, first of all, terrific name for his make sure we get this. Okay. Mick Rock is a legendary rock and roll photographer. Mick, cool name, right? I mean, his name is Mick. Was he born Mick Rock? I don't know. Is that his real name? I don't know. Who knows? But he was 72 years old. He just died today. Mick Rock was around in the late 60s throughout the 70s. Every iconic, cool-ass poster of a rock band that you ever had was probably a photo taken by Mick Rock. Album covers, all of the classic album covers that maybe you can think of. The most famous one here, we'll show you some of his pictures. This guy was really cool. I once, about 20 years ago, went to a Mick Rock, what do they call it? When a fancy dude comes to town, an artist, and then they put on a display of his shows or whatever it was. It was here in Dallas. And it was like a Mick Rock retrospective. And it was really awesome. The pictures are so cool. Here's, we'll just look at some of these. There you go. He was big with Bowie. So all the Bowie stuff was Mick Rock stuff. These are his three main muses. He was very big with Lou Reed, David Bowie, and Iggy Pop. But additionally, I mean, he did everybody. He did the Rolling Stones. He did. If you were a big rock band in that era, Mick Rock was the guy you wanted to be on stage, crouching while you were performing. You ever see that? You go to a concert and you see guys like photographers and stuff who seem to be given crazy access. Like they're right up next to the drummer taking pictures. They're right up on the stage, underneath, shooting up at the lead singer, and the lead singer doesn't seem to mind it. That's because it's somebody of the quality of Mick Rock. Let's see. There's a real iconic Lou Reed one. I want to say there he is. See if we can find the super famous Lou Reed one. A lot of Bowie, some Madonna. That looks like T-Rex. Or is that Queen? That's Queen. Yeah, because that's definitely Freddie Mercury. That one right there. That Lou Reed, that's the most iconic Lou Reed doot image ever. That was a Mick Rock image. Let's see. Well, there he is doing a little yoga. There he is. He's one of these. He's one of these old dudes that just never gave up the rock look. It's cool, man. You gotta keep going. So a lot of Bowie. Who is that? Oh, that's Susan Sarandon, isn't it? Yeah. So this would be Rocky. Oh yeah. Okay. So that's obviously Rocky Horror Pictures. Queen. Come on now. Look at that. How iconic is that picture of Queen? Joan Jett. By the way, can I stop down for a minute here and give you my take on Joan Jett? So when Joan Jett was Joan Jett, when I was like 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, I like I love rock and roll. Yeah, I like that, but I was 10, 12 years old. As I got older in music, I think I categorized Joan Jett in this disposable category. And it was only when I became older that I started to realize, oh man, you are stupid. Joan Jett was great. Joan Jett is a dame. She is a cool ass chick. I really rediscovered her just a few years ago, about 5 years ago, when I started running, because she has a catalog of music that is so cool to run to. And she's not just Joan Jett. I mean, I don't really want to get into Joan Jett. She's an icon of early 70s punk. Then she went solo. Snoop Dogg, Mick Rock doing Snoop Dogg pictures, more Bowie. All right, so there you go. So Mick Rock has passed away, and that's not good. Well, I don't mean to say it's not good, but it's... Oh, geez. What's happening here? I was just going to do a quick run through of the things that are trending now. Khalil Mack is trending today. He was on the injury report. So this is going to be like the third game in a row, I think, that he's missed. Let me see here. Why is he trending? Is he definitely out for this week against the Ravens? He might be. Oh, Redline Radio in Chicago is reporting that Khalil Mack is out for the rest of the season. Okay. He's having season-ending foot surgery. What are you going to do, folks? What are you going to do? Well, that explains why the Bears grabbed Bruce Ivans last night off of, signed him. They knew something. They knew it. All right, that sucks. Okay, so let's run through the things that are trending right now before I get out of here, because I have been receiving some texts that I have to get with. And I apologize, folks. It's kid stuff. If you weren't with us in the early part of the show, my kid injured himself lifting weights, and we're trying to determine if it is serious or if he needs to be picked up from school. His mom is at work, so I'm going to have to. As of right now, I don't have to run out of here. I don't, but we will see. I do have to respond to this one text, though, from his mom. So we're going to run through these really quickly, and I'll try and get onto that. I hope you understand. We'll be back Sunday night for Pillow Talk. Kyle Rittenhouse is trending number one. We covered that. He was acquitted not guilty on all charges. And look at this. Here we go. It's already started. White privilege is trending. AR-15 is trending. Oh boy, I'm glad that this didn't happen at like 10 o'clock this morning, because I'm telling you, I wouldn't have been able to cover any of the trending topics. I don't want to go into any of these conversations. I don't want to talk about AR-15s. I don't want to talk about white privilege. I barely want to talk about Kyle Rittenhouse, but that's kind of a bigger one. George Zimmerman is trending. Adele, we talked about that. The ACLU is trending. The ACLU shares a series of tweets following Kyle Rittenhouse's not guilty. See, again. International Men's Day is trending. Gang, Cowboy Bebop trends all the time, and I just skip over it. I don't know what Cowboy Bebop is. Well, I mean, it sounds like, is it a band? It's not a bad band name. But I think it has some. 3, 2, 1, let's jam. The live action adaptation of Cowboy Bebop is now available on Netflix. I don't know what that is. What is Cowboy Bebop animation? Because it says live action. That would suggest that it's animation. Anybody in the chat room got me covered on this? Anybody know what Cowboy Bebop is? I just do not know. Jacob Blake is trending, of course. He was the guy who was shot by Kenosha police that started off the entire situation that led to where we are today with Kyle Rittenhouse being found not guilty on all charges. Build Back Better is trending again. And again, it's because of the economists who are saying that 80% of the jobs in the Build Back Better plan will go to people who do not have college degrees. So it's a working class bill, which is good. Matt Aubrey is trending. We've been talking about that a little bit. Khalil Mack is trending. De Blasio is trending. Who cares? Folks, it's all this sucks. It is just all Kyle Rittenhouse divisive political, let's stir the pot kind of bullshit that we're dealing with here. So let's jump over to another one. I rarely do this in show because I find that Twitter is the best representation of things that are trending, things that people are talking about, because it's stuff that people are tweeting about. But let's jump into Google Trends. Let's see what we got here for the last couple of minutes. New York Times is trending. Ex-New York Times reporter claims paper held report on Kenosha arson and lootings. Okay, fine, whatever. FC Bayern Munich. Not going to talk about German League soccer. Colorado State Rams. Not going to talk about Colorado State football. Sorry. Yeah, Cowboy Bebop. Here we go again. Cowboy Bebop is trending. I don't know what Cowboy Bebop is. Jeff Glenn says, hate to burst your bubble, but if she really loved you, she would have told you about Salsa Negra, but I totally buy that she liked you more than Kelly. Oh, that's going back to the Kim Kardashian situation with me and Kim. Jeff, you weren't there. You didn't see it. You didn't feel the energy. You didn't ride the wave of good vibes that was being put out by the most beautiful woman I've ever sat across the table from. Kim Kardashian. Say what you want. You're like, oh, she ain't that great. Man, I've seen a lot of really pretty women. I've been able in my career as a radio personality to talk to models and actresses and all. She is hypnotically beautiful. Her face is just perfect. Oh, and did you know, a couple of years ago, this was funny. A couple of years ago, a computer generated, here was the idea. They created the face of a human that they were going to transmit out into the world on the off chance that there was some alien species out there, that wanted to see what they were dealing with. So the idea was we're going to beam this digital likeness of a human being out to the rest of the universe, just on the off chance that they're interested in what we look like. So a computer generated the face of a human female, and it took all of these different, all the different parts of the world, a little bit of Asian, a little bit of Indian, a little bit of Caucasian, a little bit of black, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, they took all of these things into account, and the computer created an image of what the perfect female face would be as a representation of the Earth's population. It was basically Kim Kardashian. It looked exactly like Kim Kardashian. And that's what everybody was saying. Kim Kardashian is perfect. The computer has proven it. So don't get me started. She is the end all be all face. The body's pretty great, but body is subject to whatever you want. I don't know, but the face, you can't really argue with that face. It's like perfect. Serena Williams is trending. Interstate 5 in Carlsbad, California is trending. Drivers stop to scoop up cash scattered across a freeway in Carlsbad. Oh, man. Oh, we should look into this story, right? Let's do that. Have you ever... That's like a fantasy of mine that I'll be... of mine. I'm sure that we all have this fantasy. Like, finding in the middle of nowhere, like a hefty bag stuffed with cash, right? How great would that be? Or driving down the road and a Brinks truck overturns and then money just starts flying everywhere. I mean, what would you do? I think the instinct would be pull over, scoop up as much, and be on my way. But I can't imagine you'd get away with that. I think that there'd be a way that they would probably catch you for that. But that seems to have happened here. Driver stopped to scoop up cash scattered across freeway in Carlsbad. San Diego, Dateline. Driver stopped on a San Diego County freeway Friday to try and scoop up cash that was blowing across the lanes, halting traffic entirely. The money was reported by drivers on Interstate 5 in Carlsbad, just north of Canyon Road, around 9 a.m. today. So 11 a.m. today. So this happened 11 a.m. our time. Or money blowing around the expressways. That's a good radio stunt. Some morning team was probably involved. Oh, what am I thinking? It's not 1986 anymore. There are no morning teams. And there certainly aren't any stunts like this. Caltran confirmed that officers were sent to the I-5 where several vehicles have stopped on the shoulder and that there was heavy traffic in the area. There was a bunch of cars in front of me that all stopped. Came to a complete stop, said Travis Fisher, a driver who got caught in the chaos and shared video of people scooping up bills. Fisher said he thought there was an accident. He was surrounded by big rigs and couldn't see ahead, but he noticed some of the truckers were getting out of their vehicles and running between the lanes of traffic. Initially, Fisher thought they were running to help someone who was hurt. Then, no, of course not. No, this was not about that. This is about greed. Can't blame him, though. I don't know how maybe in the moment, like maybe I'd be like, I'm gonna give me some cash. Maybe I would do that. But I wouldn't spend it happily. Like I'd be scared like the whole time. Like you know what I would do? I would probably spend a couple grand. Like let's say that I was able to scoop up like 15 grand, right? I would go out that night and have a really good time, and I might spend like a grand or two, but then I'd sit on the rest of it and I'd wait to see how this story shakes out. Like, am I going to get like a knock at the door from the FBI or who would that be? The Secret Service? Cause they handle all like money issues and all that stuff. I would need to sit on a big portion. I'd spend a little, don't get me crazy. You know, I would spend a little bit of it because how would they know how much I got? Right? Exactly. So I would spend a little bit of it. Initially, Fisher thought that they were running to help someone who was hurt. And the money's insured. We got banking insurance and all that stuff. It's not like I'm not stealing money from some single mom trying to buy Christmas presents. It's not that. Well, at least I don't think. Because in my scenario, it's like a Brinks truck. They haven't said what the cause of this was. Initially, Fisher thought that the truckers were running to help someone who was hurt. Then more people started getting out and more started getting out and more started getting out, he told Fox 5. I see all these things floating around and I realize, holy cow, that's money, Fisher continued. It was pretty crazy. Just everywhere. There was a sea of bills everywhere. Fisher estimated that there were thousands and thousands of dollars on the road. By about 10 a.m., California Highway Patrol officers could be seen trying to keep drivers off the freeway and picking up bills. A couple cops made a few $100 today. That's all I'm saying. You scoop them all up. Maybe one falls in your pocket. Use it at the bar tonight after your shift. I'm just saying. I don't think that's necessarily a terrible thing. By about 10, that's also like whenever I see these cop shows, like where they're like busting drug dealers and they kick in the door, the drug dealer money house, and all the money stacked up and all that stuff. I would totally be a bad cop. I would totally take like a whole bunch of money, especially if I was first through the door. I would think that's my prize. That's my prize for risking my life. If I'm going like on The Shield, if you ever watched The Shield on FX, if I kicked through the door and I went in, all right, scumbags, hands up. And they're all like, the money counters going, they count the money and there's big stacks and there's all kinds of drugs. I wouldn't steal the drugs. Nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to get involved in like that whole thing. But stacks of cash? Oh man, I'd be jocking some stuff. And then because if you're first through, it's not like you're going to have like lieutenants and captains and, the media and investigators and stuff. They all come about 10, 15, 20 minutes later. You're left alone with all of this cash. And who's to say how much cash these drug dealers have? This is all unaccounted for bills. By about 10 a.m., California Highway Patrol officers could be seen trying to keep drivers off the freeway and picking up bills, which they placed in plastic bags. All of it? Witnesses said the cash fell from a passing truck and an armored vehicle from Sectram Security. All right, there we have it. It's insured. That money is fine. Doesn't matter. Free money, people. Free money. The security truck, the Sectram security truck was pulled over on the side of the highway. Officers could be seen taking down information from some of the people who stopped to grab some of the cash, but it wasn't immediately clear if anyone would face charges. Fox 5 has reached out to CHP to confirm further details. Man, how fun is that? Ooh, heading into the holiday season, suddenly you're staked with a couple $1,000. Can't complain about that. Adam Reyna helping me out with Cowboy Bebop. He says Cowboy Bebop is a Japanese anime show that was from about 20 years ago. The live action stars the MILF guy from American Pie. Stifler? That guy? All right, cool. I don't know. Is it something I need to watch? I don't know. Hey, Adam Reyna, man. Adam Reyna reminded me of something that I absolutely love. There was a show, and I saw it last year. It was originally a Comedy Central show, and for my friends who are in Chicago, this may mean something. But Adam's from Texas, and he really enjoys it. It was a Comedy Central show that is now season 2. They made it an HBO Max show, so you can find it on HBO Max. I don't know if you can see both seasons on HBO Max, but the first season was so funny. It's a show called South Side, and it's about it's a comedy. It's a half-hour comedy, and it's about these dudes who live on the south side of Chicago, but not my neighborhood, one neighborhood over. these guys live in Englewood, which, Murderwood, as it's known, or Englehood, as it's also called, probably one of the worst neighborhoods in America. People in Englewood eat people from Compton for breakfast. I mean, Englewood, look, come on. We all know how, Chicago is the murder and all these gangs and all the murder and all. That's all happening in Englewood. That's Englewood. So this is a comedy show written about the people who aren't the gangbangers in Englewood and how they go through their lives. And it is so funny. It is really funny. I thought, like, when I saw it, my first impression of it was, oh man, this is going to be stupid. This is just going to be a lot of lowest common denominator humor and stuff. It's not. It's tremendous satire. It is really funny. The people who created this show are really good writers. They're really funny, and the performances are really funny. Some of it's some of it's a little stereotypical, but that's okay. They're stereotyping themselves. I mean, they are, the people who wrote and created the show are from Englewood, so they're writing about themselves. Adam was cool enough to let me know today on Twitter that there is now a season 2 of Southside. So I'm going to be jumping into that. I really, Kevin Barber would be a good one. Kevin, you would really think, being familiar with Englewood and that part of the town as I am, you would get a real kick out of it. The characters are all so funny. They're all comedic representations of the different types of people that you would run into if you were, heaven forbid, my grandma, every day, my 70-year-old grandma, she would take the Englewood L line downtown to work. And I think she retired when she was 70. So maybe, but she was like an old woman, frail, and we used to pick her up at the Englewood L stop. It was a big train station there in Englewood. And yeah, I used to just think, ooh, why is grandma doing this? And grandpa was always like, I don't understand why she's still doing this. Because it was a scary neighborhood to be an old, frail white lady taking the train. But that never happened to her. Nothing ever happened to her. She, so they were just afraid of, whatever, social stigmatizations or whatever. But yeah, So Inglewood, Southside. Thank you, Adam, for that. I really do appreciate that. I'm going to watch that this weekend. As a matter of fact, I'm going to start at season 1. And if my kid is okay, we're going to watch season 1 and probably rip through the new season 2. I'm very excited about it. Had no idea. I did not even think there would be a season 2 of Southside. I'm like, boy, this is so good. But I can't imagine anybody outside Chicago or outside the South Side of Chicago really appreciating this because of all the references, Harold's Chicken references and stuff like that. I'm like, nobody's going to get this stuff. But maybe they do. Maybe comedy survives. Maybe it's just funny. It's funny for being funny. All right, guys, I think that's going to be it. I think we're going to finish everything up here. As I said, I have calls to make regarding my son. My gout is killing me, but that ain't a reason to quit. I can fight through the gout. I'll be fine with that. You just got to muscle through. We'll be back on Sunday evening. We'll do the Pillow Talk edition. That's at 9:00 Central Time. So we should have a full staff on Sunday night, or maybe not. I don't think we're going to have E. We won't have sunglasses. We'll definitely be me and Parker on Sunday night. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for being with us. Oh, wait, is there something? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Was there something else that I wanted to mention? You know what? Doesn't matter. Let's keep an eye on what's happening there in Kenosha. Oh, whoa. That was bad. I miscued that. Do I want that one? Yeah, I do. All right. We'll leave you as we do each and every day with the song stylings of America's favorite singer-songwriter / failed presidential assassin, John Hinckley. You guys like this song. You may not admit it, but you like this song. Yeah, you do. I know, because I've heard from enough of you who totally admit that they're like, I can't believe you got me thinking John Hinckley can actually write catchy songs. Yeah, I know. John Hinckley, Roses and Lace. You like it. You won't admit it. A lot of you won't admit it, but you know it's true. The song is catchy and you like it. All right, bye, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Contribute to the show in any way you can. I'm not going to hammer that. I appreciate everybody who helps out. I don't want to be that guy. Have a safe weekend. Have a fun weekend. We'll see you back here on Sunday night for Pillow Talk. That's at 9:00 Central Time. And then normal week next week, except for Thursday, obviously. We won't be doing anything on whatever. All right. Bye, folks. Love you. Have a good weekend. This can be the start of something new. Roses and lace, they are meant for you. May everyone be on your side at each and every turn. And may you have the smoothest ride. Receive what you have earned. This can be the start of something new. Roses and lace, they are meant for you. May peace be with you every day, in every kind of way. May good things come into your life to have a blessed day. This can be the start of something new. Roses and lace, they are meant for you. This can be the start of something new. Roses and lace, they are meant for you.